Level 1. The Raw Recruit. You arrive at the training center in the dead of winter. You are 18, shivering in a thin uniform, surrounded by the biting wind of the Siberian tundra. You have a rucksack, a damaged rifle from the 1960s, and one goal: survive the week. You are not a soldier yet. You are a piece of meat meant to be ground down. Your sergeant does not care about your name. You are a number. You wake up at 4 in the morning to run 10 kilometers through knee-deep snow. If you fall behind, you crawl. If you stop, you are beaten with a wooden stick until you stand up. You do not talk. You do not complain. You are learning to hate the comfort of your past life. You see how the system breaks you to build you again. The instructors watch you eat watery porridge and dry bread. They are the gods of this place. The real challenge is the sleep deprivation. They wake you up every 2 hours for a mock assault. You stumble into the cold, half-blind, trying to assemble your weapon with frozen fingers. One day, you fail to hit the target. The sergeant screams until his face turns purple. He throws your gear into the mud. You spend the next 3 hours holding a heavy log above your head while the snow turns to ice on your skin. You do not forget that moment. You learn that pain is just information telling you that you are still breathing. Level 2. The Operator Candidate. You are 20. You have survived the basic filter, but now the real selection begins. You are at a remote base hidden deep in the Ural forests. There are 50 men here, but by the end of the month only 10 will remain. Your day starts with hand-to-hand combat. No pads, no referees, just pure exhaustion and broken knuckles. You are fighting men who are bigger, faster, and meaner than you. You learn to fight dirty. A thumb to the eye, a strike to the throat, a boot to the knee. This is not sport. This is survival. Your training involves living in the wild for 7 days with nothing but a knife and a map. You track through dense brush, hiding from hunter teams that are actively searching for you. If they catch you, you are out. You sleep in holes you dig in the frozen earth. You drink from streams you hope are not contaminated. You are losing weight. Your beard is matted with dirt, and you have not washed in 2 weeks. But you are becoming something else. You are becoming a weapon. One night you are forced to crawl through a trench filled with freezing water while instructors fire blanks over your head. You realize then that the fear is gone. It has been replaced by a cold, hard focus. When you finally graduate, you are handed the maroon beret. It feels heavier than gold. Level 3. The Scout. You have been in the field for 2 years. No mistakes, no lost gear, no hesitation. Now you are part of a 4-man reconnaissance team. Your job is to disappear. You cross borders in the darkness, moving through enemy territory with nothing but thermal optics and a suppressed rifle. You are not meant to be seen. If you are spotted, the mission is a failure. You observe a target for 9 days, buried in a shallow hide site, eating only protein bars and drinking from a canteen that never stays full. You watch the enemy move, you listen to their radio traffic, and you map their defenses. It is monotonous, grueling, and dangerous. One day, an enemy patrol walks within 3 meters of your position. You hold your breath until your lungs ache. A bird chirps, and for a second you think you are dead. They pass by, oblivious to the fact that 4 ghosts are watching them. You report the coordinates. 5 minutes later, an artillery strike turns the camp into fire and ash. You do not feel joy. You feel the satisfaction of a job performed with surgical precision. You are making more money than your father ever dreamed of, but you cannot tell anyone what you do. Your mother thinks you are a military engineer. She is proud of your uniform, but she knows nothing of the blood you have on your hands. Level 4. The Team Leader. You are 28. You run a 10-man team. Your job is simple. Execute the direct action mission and bring your boys home. The command provides the intel, and you decide the tactical approach. You are responsible for every bullet fired and every life lost. You lead your men into urban combat zones where every window is a potential sniper nest. You are the first one through the door when the flashbang explodes. You move with speed, violence, and total control. If the mission goes wrong, it is your head on the block. A rival unit tries to beat you to an objective, but you use your superior training to ambush them in the stairwell. 3 men die in seconds. It is brutal, efficient, and over before the echoes fade. You are living well, receiving bonuses for every successful extraction. You have a car, a nice apartment, and a reputation that precedes you in the mess hall. You are managing ego, adrenaline, and exhaustion. Your soldiers are young, bold, and sometimes reckless. You have to be the one to calm them down or push them harder. Sometimes that means a stern conversation. Sometimes that means forcing them to redo a drill until they vomit. You answer to the colonel and the pressure is relentless. If you fail to deliver results, you are relegated to a desk job, and that is a fate worse than death for a man like you. Level 5. The Regional Strategist. You control operations for an entire sector. You have 5 teams reporting to your command center. You manage logistics, high-value target identification, and political sensitivity. Your meetings take place in bunkers protected by concrete 3 meters thick. You arrive in an armored vehicle, escorted by guards who do not speak. You carry a custom pistol that you keep for ceremonial purposes, though you have used it in training. Your job is to think in patterns. The High Command wants to neutralize a local insurgency, and you design the campaign. You identify the nodes in their supply line, you coordinate the drone strikes, and you prepare the ground for the ground assault. 60 of your men move into the zone at 2 in the morning. They clear the area in 90 minutes and leave no traces of their passage. You also manage the shadow budget. You authorize the movement of funds for bribes, equipment, and intelligence gathering. You are making enough to retire in luxury, but you are never at home. You have a wife and 2 daughters who know you as a distant, stern man who works for the ministry. They do not know about the satellite photos you analyze or the bodies you leave behind in the dark corners of the world. You sleep 5 hours a night. You trust only your second-in-command, because in this line of work, trust is a liability. You are fighting a war that never officially exists. Level 6. The Task Force Commander. You run 1,000 men. Every mission, every tactical shift, every tactical asset goes through your desk. You have an entire battalion under your thumb. You generate results that keep the higher-ups in the ministry happy, but you are a ghost to the public. You do not exist on the records. You live in a secure facility in the mountains, surrounded by sensors and guards. Your work is delicate diplomacy. You negotiate with foreign intelligence services to swap captives or share data. You meet with generals who hide their faces. You do not threaten them. You show them the leverage you have on them. A file with evidence of their past mistakes. A video of a secret meeting. A path to ruin. Most of them fold. The ones who do not disappear into the system. You are a corporate executive of violence. You manage the global scale of operations. You coordinate the movement of specialized equipment from northern factories, the integration of new cyber warfare tools, and the training of the next generation of shadow operators. You have millions at your disposal, but it is just a resource to be allocated. You cannot attend your son's graduation. It is too risky to be seen in a crowd. You cannot visit your childhood home. Too many people have long memories. You live in a reinforced cage, and the stress is turning your hair gray. Your security chief might be an internal auditor. Your administrative assistant might be reporting to the intelligence agency. You demote 3 officers based on a gut feeling. It is a harsh game, but you would rather be feared than mourned. Level 7. The Special Operations Architect. You built the current doctrine. You evolved it from the wreckage of the old regime into the precision instrument it is today. You are the architect of the invisible war. You command units in 20 different countries. You have politicians and high-ranking officials in your pocket across the continent. You are worth more than some small nations, yet you are the most wanted man on the watch list of every hostile state. You move between secure locations every 4 days. You communicate through dedicated networks that self-destruct the moment the message is read. You have changed your identity 3 times. Your oldest friends would not recognize you in the street. You meet with the heads of other elite units to divide the world into zones of influence. Everyone prospers, everyone stays in the shadows, but the balance is fragile. A single rogue commander can trigger a global conflict. You cannot retire. If you step away, you become a liability. You know too much about the structure, the funding, and the skeletons in the government closets. You are the most powerful shadow player in the hemisphere. You are also the most hunted man on the globe. Level 8. The Black Site. They finally caught you. Perhaps it was a digital trail, or a betrayal from a subordinate you thought you owned. But you are now in a high-security facility buried deep under a mountain in the Arctic North. 23 hours a day in silence. Steel walls, fluorescent lights that never dim, no contact with the outside world. You will die here. There is no escape, no bribery, no rescue operation that can reach you. The men you trained are now hunting their own shadows, and they have forgotten your name. You had an empire of information, a reach that spanned the globe. Now you have a concrete floor and the rest of your life to review every tactical decision you ever made. You replay the operations, the faces of the men you ordered into the fire, and the cold calculations that led you here. Level 9. The Legend. But the unit does not die with you. A successor steps in, a younger, colder version of yourself who learned from your failures. The drills continue, the targets are acquired, and the shadows move across the map. The cycle is eternal. You were the king of the unseen, a master of the silent strike. Now you are a cautionary tale, a ghost story that veterans tell rookies in the dark. This is what happens when you believe you are untouchable, when you start to think the world is yours to reshape. But there is always another recruit, 18 years old, shivering in the snow, waiting for his chance to be the blade in the darkness. This is the machine, not just a service. A vast, intricate engine of power built on discipline, secrecy, and blood. And it is still running, perfect and unyielding, long after you have been erased from history.